the Quran Sharif, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala mentions that Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, qad ja'atkum maw'idatun min rabbikum, that a nasihat, an advice, a bayan has come to you from the side of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. This Quran Sharif that we are reciting, this is actually a bayan from the side of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. When Quran Sharif, when the Arabs read it, particularly Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif in the Haram, and they read it in their lehja, that is their language, the Arabic language. And if a person just understands little bit the translation of the Quran Sharif, it will wipe you off your feet. When Sheikh Shuraim, when he used to read the Fajr Salah on a Friday morning, it's as though Quran Sharif is coming down, how beautifully they recite Quran Sharif. And everywhere in the world, Quran Sharif today is recited very, very beautifully. But Quran Sharif is a complete bayan Allah Ta'ala has given us. Allah Ta'ala is addressing us. قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. This has come from the side of your Rabb, it has come from Allah Ta'ala. And وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. This is a cure for what is in the bosoms. Meaning that all our spiritual illnesses, whether a person has greed, whether a person has anger, whatever problem he's got, pride he's got, whatever problems he's got, if he reads Quran Sharif with this intention that Allah Ta'ala cure me from all these diseases, Allah will cure a person from all his spiritual diseases. And not only spiritual diseases, but the physical illnesses that we have. Quran Sharif is 100% a cure for our physical illnesses as well. On one occasion, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to the home of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. When he entered the home of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, there was a woman that was treating Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. So she was reciting something and she was blowing on Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam told her that treat her through the means of Quran Sharif. That this is the means that will cure Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. On another occasion, it is mentioned, it comes in the riwayat, that a group of Sahaba, they were traveling. So while they were traveling, they came to a particular locality and it was already nightfall, but they didn't have food. So the people of this locality, they didn't want to entertain Sahaba, they didn't want to host Sahaba. Obviously, they were kuffar at that time. So they did not want to host the Sahaba. But it was at night, so they camped outside this particular locality. Allah's system, Allah made it such that that night, a scorpion had built the master or the leader of that particular locality. So they called people, whoever, the doctors, whoever it might be, to treat this person, but they couldn't treat him. There was no effect whatsoever. Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi, when he was in Deoband, if any person was bit by a scorpion, Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi had the cure. Certain verses of the Quran Sharif he would recite and he would just blow and that person would be cured immediately. But on one occasion, one youngster or somebody was bit by a scorpion. So they told Mufti Shafi Saheb rahmatullahi that this youngster has been bit. He said, this is nothing, don't worry, bring him to me. When they brought the youngster, he read and read, but no effect whatsoever. When you attribute it to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Allah puts the effect in those verses of the Quran. But the moment our gaze moves away a little bit also from Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and see what a mess we make of the whole thing. A person can be the best motor mechanic in the world, and for him, you tell him to change a fan belt. He'll say, this is a piece of cake, man, bring it 10 minutes, I'll sort it out for you and give it to you. The moment he says, it's a piece of cake, bring it to me and I'll show you how I'll sort it out. That's the day he'll make a mistake, it'll take him the whole day and he won't be able to sort it out. So our gaze must always be there. Ya Allah, you are helping me. And as long as our gaze is on Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala's help is with a person. The moment the gaze shifts a little bit away, little bit of pride comes in, immediately a person fails. So nevertheless, these Sahaba, they had camped outside that particular locality. So the leader was now bit by the scorpion. So when he was bit by the scorpion, all the doctors, whoever it must have been, the armies, whoever, they all failed. So they said those people outside the locality, that they look like pious people, let us go to them. So they came to this particular group of Sahaba. I think it was Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala, he was the Amir of this Jamaat. So they asked him, they said that, can you recite anything? Can you sort our leader out? So he said, yes, I can sort him out, but you'll have to pay a price because you people refuse to host us. So he said, what's the price? 30 goats. You give us 30 goats, we will sort it out for you. So Hazrat Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala, when he just recited and he blew on him and he was cured. So when he came back, the Sahaba asked him that, you know this work of reading and blowing on somebody in, what they call it, incantations. That do you know this where you can read and blow and cure? He says, no, I don't know nothing. He says, what did I read? He said, all I recited was Surah Fateha. And on Surah Fateha, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala gave him complete Shifa. And then they brought all those goats and they came to Medina Sharif. When they came to Medina Sharif, they informed Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that, Ya Rasulullah, this is what had transpired. Nabi Alayhi Salam approved of it. He said 100%, this is in order. There's no problem whatsoever with what you people have done. But he said, how did Abu Sa'id Khudri radiallahu ta'ala know that these verses of Surah Fateha have so much of effect in them. So Surah Fateha, this is actually Surah Shifa. No matter what illness a person has got, a person utilizes Surah Al-Fatiha, inshallah, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will put effect, Allah Ta'ala will give a person cure. On another occasion, Hazrat Ilaqa radiallahu ta'ala, he said that we were returning from Medina Sharif. And as we were returning from Medina Sharif, we passed by one locality where there were Arabs that were located. So these Arabs, they found out that these people are coming from Medina Sharif. He said, have you brought any good from Medina Sharif and come from the man? The man referring to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So then they said, see, there is one man that is in our locality. He has become insane. And we cannot do anything with this particular person. What we have done, we have now tied him up in chains. So he cannot move. He just remains in the chain all the time because he is insane. Can you help us? Can you do something for us? So whoever was there, Hazrat Ilaqa radiallahu ta'ala, I think it was most probably, he said, no problem, bring this man to me. So the man that was insane, they brought him, they tied him up and they left him by Hazrat Ilaqa radiallahu ta'ala. Every morning, every evening, he would just read and blow on him. Blow on in the morning, blow in the evening. And in a matter of 3 days, 100% he was sorted out. Comes in the riwayat, 100% he was cured. And he says, in the narration it comes, like a person that was tied up in rope. And when he's freed, how that person then just moves. This person was just moving around all over. So then they asked him that, what did you do? He said, all that I did is I recited Surah Al-Fatiha and I blew on this particular person for 3 days. And within 3 days, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala cured him. So what is the power of Quran? Allah is saying himself over here, وَشِفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. This is the cure for what is in the bosom, whether it is spiritual, whether it is physical. That is why, because of this verse of the Quran Sharif, Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, he wrote an entire kitab in which he wrote that for a certain illness, read this verse of the Quran. For a certain illness, read this verse of the Quran. For a certain illness, read this verse of the Quran. And from that kitab of Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi, Mawlana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahmatullahi alayhi wrote the kitab A'mal-e-Qur'ani, the Aman of the Quran. That for whatever illnesses there are, recite certain verses, you will be cured. It is from that kitab of Mawlana Thanwi rahmatullahi alayhi, Mawlana Ahmad Haturani Saheb rahmatullahi alayhi, Mawlana Rafiq Haturani Saheb's father, he wrote that small kitab, Remedies from the Holy Quran. Perhaps many of us have that kitab also. That is taken from A'mal-e-Qur'ani. And A'mal-e-Qur'ani is taken from Imam Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi's kitab. So their prescriptions have been given from the Quran Sharif for whatever illnesses a person has. Allama ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi, he says that this is the most easiest solution Allah Ta'ala has given us. The most simplest of solution. Just go to Quran Sharif and whatever our problem is, whatever illnesses also a person has, Allah Ta'ala can cure it directly from the Quran Sharif. And he then mentioned, he said there is so much of effect in the verse of the Quran. He says, when I was in Makkah al-Mukarramah, Allama ibn Qayyim rahmatullahi alayhi say, he says, when I was in Makkah al-Mukarramah, I was afflicted with various illnesses. He said there was no doctor in Makkah Sharif at that time, and he says there was no medication also found at that time for my illnesses. So he said, what I used to do? He says that I sorted my entire matter out with just Surah Al-Fatiha. He says every day I used to go and get Zamzam. And I used to recite Surah Fatiha and I used to blow in the Zamzam. And he says that in a short span of time, all those illnesses that I had, he says Allah Ta'ala cured me from all the illnesses that I had. He says after I was cured, never ever did I seek treatment anywhere else. I went immediately to Quran Sharif, I went to Surah Al-Fatiha. And if I found anyone suffering from any illness, I would tell that person also, you recite Surah Fatiha and treat your illnesses through Surah Al-Fatiha. So Quran, in the Hadith it said that Surah Fatiha, this is Surah Shifa. We'll continue from it tomorrow inshallah.